Okay, hey guys, welcome back to another IC Markets Pre-Markets Live Analysis. And today, very simple as usual. We'll be going through the live market analysis. Bef and before that, we'll be going through the key news events that will be coming up this week ahead. Okay, so before I begin this webinar, we shall wait for maybe 1 to 2 more minutes before the rest of the attendees come in, and afterwards we can officially start the webinar. All right, so that you guys won't have to miss any um information. All right. Okay, so I think we can officially start the webinar already. All right, so very simple. Before I begin the webinar, as usual, this is the disclaimer. Remember that everything in this webinar is educational in nature and nothing should be construed as investment or trading advice. All right, so please remember to do your own due diligence before you guys trade. Okay, so the next thing is, of course, very usual to agenda for the week ahead. Firstly, we'll be analyzing the high impact news events for the current week, and also what are the key technical setups to watch out for. All right, and I'm your host for today. My name is Woon Hong, and I'll be going through with you guys today's pre-markets live analysis. Okay, so the first agenda, key news events that we can look out for. All right, so for Monday itself, it might be a little bit slower because we have no high impact news to move the markets. So you might want to take a miss on Monday itself, take a break, and continue on Tuesday, where there is a little bit more volatility due to the fact that Tuesday we have JPY news that are tentative, right? We have the Bank of Japan policy rate, and also something to take note of would be the monetary policy statement. All right, and then for AUD, we have cash rate and also the RBA rate statement. Okay, so this will definitely affect pairs like AUD USD, right? And of course, possibly even AUD JPY. All right. Then generally these are the two currencies that might cause a little bit more fluctuations in the markets on Tuesday itself. Right. And of course, on Wednesday, we have only one high impact news, but this is important because it relates to the CPI news for GBP itself. All right. So you will have to note that it will definitely affect pairs like GBP USD, right? GBP JPY, and also GBP AUD. All right, these are the three pairs that might have a little bit more movements than the rest. Okay, and then for Thursday, all right, we have quite a number of news as you can see over here, right? We have this. Okay, so for this Thursday news itself, for to take note, this is for Singapore's time zone, right? 2 a.m., which means that it is about 7 p.m. GMT. Okay, 7 p.m. GMT. All right, and you might have to close your most of your trades that are related to the USD currency because of what we have is FOMC statement. Okay, and of course we also have the press conference. This will definitely affect a lot of the USD pairs as well as gold itself. All right, so please be mindful of that. You don't really have to close, I would say, 100% of your positions, but close at least, I would say, 50% of your position if you are already in the trade. All right, and then next thing is we have NZD GDP. All right, definitely affect pairs like NZD USD. Okay, then after that, we have GBP claimant count change, all right, CHF, right, CHF monetary policy assessment, and also their policy rate. Okay, so one of the major pairs would be USD CHF. All right, so Thursday itself will be very, very volatile. So please be mindful of the number of trades that you will be taking, all right, for on Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, then lastly, we have GBP monetary policy summary and also their official bank rate, etc. All right, so the key things to note would be pairs that will definitely be affected: GBP USD, NZD USD, right? USD CHF and gold. All right, as well as Euro USD. All right, these are the majors that will definitely be affected on Thursday. All right, and Friday, surprisingly, we have no news. All right, I think is to prep for the last week of June itself. All right, last week of June itself would definitely be a little bit more exciting. All right, there will be quite a number of news, especially on Wednesday and Thursday itself. All right, so we shall also take note of that. Okay, so with that being said, let's move on to the charts itself. All right, to do the analysis. Okay, so let's start off with the XY as usual. Okay, let me just clear all of these. Okay. Okay, so as usual, if you guys have any questions, right, just feel free to type it in this comment section down below. Okay, let me just place it here. All right. And if you guys have any questions, if you guys want me to go through with any pairs, right, feel free to type it right here. Okay. I'll just place this mini chat box on my right side so that you guys can see the questions, as well as if you have any pairs that you want me to analyze for you guys, right, just type it in right here. Okay. Let me just make sure. Okay. All right, so let's start off with the daily charts as per normal, right? Starting off with the XY, right? Because it is the core for most of this USD currency. Okay, so looking at the market structure of the XY, right? We can clearly see that price is now in a uptrend, right? You can see this level over here, right? Price is creating higher highs. Remove this, make it a little bit thicker. Okay, we can see that price is creating higher highs. Oops, it is so big. And this, okay, higher highs, right? Higher lows, higher highs, and then possibly right now, price is creating a higher low. Price created a higher low, possibly aiming for this higher high over here. Okay, this is what we could possibly see for the XY. All right, so with that being said, let's see where shall we be looking at. All right, so we are unable to look at DXY being bullish, right, due to the fact that it has already bounced off from this level over here, right? So where is the next key level that DXY might relate to? Okay, so one of the levels could be around this. Let me see. Yeah, this level over here. Okay, and the reason why is because once DXY takes out this area, right, this common resistance level, and the reason why I say common is because price has already, this was a previous resistance, price tapped it once already, right, and there is liquidity left that could be taken out over here. Okay, this is what we could expect. So this is a safer level to see price reject off from here. Okay, price can go up, take out this high, come up to here and show a form of rejection to come lower. Okay, so this is what we are looking at. All right, so I will place this as my pivot point. Okay, so with that being my pivot point, the next thing is, of course, where shall be my first resistance? So we scroll to the left. All right, my first resistance will be at this area over here. Might seem a little bit higher, right? But this is the only resistance that you should be looking at, right? I wouldn't place a second resistance because this is already quite a distance off from our swing high resistance level over here. Okay, yeah. All right, then for our first support, very, very simple. An area that you should be looking at would be at this level over here, right? You can see price acted as a support. Okay, price acted as a support over here. All right, broke through, right? Acted as a resistance. All right, broke through, acted as a support. All right, so this is a core support level for DXY. All right, so I'll mark this out as my first support. All right, second support, very simple. Just place it at this level over here. Not too far, right? Just place it slightly below over here. This is our second support. Okay, so we are looking for since price is looking bullish, right, above the Ichimoku cloud, and also looking to rise towards this area of resistance over here. So we are looking for a bearish reaction for DXY, right? So, but this might only play out from Tuesday onwards. Okay, so this is something to take note of. All right, next thing. Euro USD. All right. So previously, we had a very nice push from Euro USD at this core level, right? Barely much drawdowns before price actually reached its target, which is great. But let's see how Euro USD might perform next. Okay. So on the daily time frame, right? On this whole area over here, we can clearly see that price has been bearish, okay, within this area, right? Just to show you the market structure. Where's my tool? Okay, price created a lower low, lower high, lower low, possibly creating a lower high for it to form a lower low. Okay, this is the overall market structure. All right, so we will be looking for a sell entry towards the downside. Okay, so the level that I will be looking at would be, let me see, should be this. Okay, let me see. Honestly, let me show you guys two levels, all right? Because, okay, the reason why there is one level that I would say I pretty much like it quite a bit, right? But I am not exactly 100% sure, right? You can see how price already showed a form of reaction over here, right? You can see very beautiful rejection of this area, and right now price is around this level over here. Okay, so let's see if price could come up a little bit more, right, towards this area over here. Let me see. Okay, this will definitely be my first resistance. Let me just use this 50%. Okay, this will definitely be my first resistance, and then my second resistance will be right over here. Okay, very, very simple. If you go, let's see, H1, yeah, okay. So price is still in a range over here, has not broken past this previous swing low support. So price might still continue to trade within this range before deciding to go up or go down. Okay, so this is what we could see. All right. But of course, to play it safer, right? Yeah, let's do this. We shall just mark this out. Okay. Then for our support, very, very simple. Referencing from the left to the right, all the way here, taking all the key points, right? And then putting it as your first support. All right. And then for your second support, take it at the wick over here, right? This area. This is your second support. Okay. So price could still definitely reject off this pivot point to go lower. All right. We need to see how price opens during the Asian session. Okay, then if you would want, you can still use your feeble projection. Let's take a very, very quick look. Yep, you can see how price has tapped the 78.6% feeble projection already. All right, so this is a confirmation. Okay, very, very beautiful. All right, next thing, let's do GBP USD. Okay, so GBP USD is not exactly as straightforward as Euro USD, right? There are quite a bit of hiccups, which means that you can see how price created a new low, right? Lower high, didn't create a lower low, right? So price could still possibly come up a little bit more. Okay, but safe to say, right? Yeah, you can see how price could come up a little bit more. Okay, safe to say price is still below the Ichimoku cloud. So what we want to do is to see if we can find a little bit of a, let me see, let me just mark out my feeble projection. Price has tapped it already. Okay, that's fine. I think we can look for a, okay, this is a important level. Yeah, this, I would say this is a pretty important level for GU. Okay, and the reason why is because let me just mark this out as a resistance level. Okay, and the reason why, if I were to go to H4, you can see how it's very, very beautiful, right? You can see how, if I were to zoom in, price acted as a support, right? Broke through, okay, retest as a resistance, right, and still struggling at this area. So if price still does not break past this area of resistance level over here, right, it might still continue its consolidation area, but high chance, right, a level that I am looking at would be this area. Okay, let me mark this out. Yeah, go to H4. Yep, yep. Okay, this makes more sense. Okay, one level that I would also take would be this level over here. Let me just, yeah, this area. Okay, not exactly beautiful because of this level that protrude out. Okay, but you can see how many times price has respected this area. One, two, three, four, five, six, and this broke through, right? But it created so many wicks over here. Okay, so if you are trading the higher time frame, this could be a area to look out for, right? Aligning with the 78.6% feeble retracement level, all right? And then for your first resistance would be this other pullback resistance level over here. Second resistance would be a little bit higher, right? This level of resistance. Okay, this is your second resistance. All right, and then our first support, let me take a look right over here. Okay, the only thing you need is your first support, right? Because after that is quite low, which is right over here. So you wouldn't have to really put it too low, okay, because this what might definitely be your first target, okay, and then looking for a sell. All right, so you might still have to wait a little bit more before you look for a sell over here. Okay, next thing, you can, oh, USD CHF, all right, let's take a look. Okay, so for USD CHF right over here, okay, USD CHF price didn't come down to a level that I was looking at, right, which is exactly right over here. It stopped halfway and is now at this area, which is still considered pretty much bullish. Okay, but let's see where it might show a form of resistance. Let's take a look. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look at its. I think it's long gone. Is 161.8. Yeah. Okay, so for USD CHF, I would say that right now the price action is not that good to take a risky sell position, right? H4, you can see that there could be a level that you can trade towards to, right? Which is up to this area over here. Okay, meaning that you can continue to scale your buy positions up to this point, right, on the lower time frame. But if you're looking at daily time frame, I would say as of right now, if you would really want, right, I would say, let me see. The pivot point was, yeah, the pivot point long con. Resistance. Yeah, let's take a pass on USD CHF. We don't have a extension level for us as a guide on where price might end up at. Okay, so I would take a pass on this. If you would want, right, you can go to the lower time frames to scale your buy positions. Okay, other than that, let's take it out. Okay, so okay, oh wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Next thing, let's take a look at USD CAD. All right. So UCAD has already broken past this level of resistance already. All right. So it's pretty much extremely bullish right now. Okay. But there comes a point where it will show a form of resistance. And where would that be? Right. Let's take a look. Right. Drawing out your Fibo extension level. Okay. And it should be at the 127.2%. Okay, this area over here. This is my pivot point. Okay, I'll place this as my pivot point. All right, and I will highlight this area. Okay, and the reason why this is pretty much quite good is the case that there is still a fair value gap over here that was left behind. Okay, let me just drag it all the way to the right side. Okay, this should be good. Oh, but the word is so hard to see. Okay, let me enlarge this text. Okay, so right now you can see that there is a fair value gap here, followed by your 127.2% Fibo extension level. All right, so this is a level that you could possibly enter from. Okay, I wouldn't want to place my pivot point, take note, is not exactly within the fair value gap. All right, but it is at the body of the candle right over here. Okay, the body of the candle. Okay, so there is a high chance that price might react within this fair value gap. Okay, so that's something to take note of. All right. Okay, and right now price is trying to push its way up to this area over here. Because fair value gap, just imagine, is like a magnet that is trying to attract price to come towards a certain level. All right, and in this case, coming towards a supply zone over here. Okay, and let's see. I think. Oh wait, since price has gone past. Okay, we can also use um your expansion level. Let's take a look. Oh wow, okay. I think this is great. Yeah, we can also use your expansion level. Uh, yeah, can't really see exactly properly, but this area over here, right, pretty much aligned with your 127.2% FIBO extension level. This blue one is your wait, let me see if I can change this. Yeah, okay, so that you guys can see better. All right, like this. Okay, and then this acts as a feeble confluence level, right? So for you, Cat, I am quite confident that there will definitely be a form of reaction over here. All right, so do watch out for that. And then what's next? Yeah. Maybe I could shift because UCAT's measurement is not a lot. Like from this point to here is probably only 30 pips, but on another time, on another pair might be more. Okay, so what I could do is maybe to just shift this downwards. Okay, but highlight this whole area. Okay, and then so that you guys have a clearer view. Yeah. Okay, the next thing, let me see. Okay, the first resistance area, if price doesn't respect this area, right? One other thing to note would be this level. I'll just say this level. This is still 50 pips from our pivot point. Okay, so this is a valid resistance. Second resistance, let me take a look. Yeah, and this will be pretty much way higher. Okay, so this hopefully price doesn't reach this point. Okay, let me just remove this actually. Yeah, just refer to these two. Okay, and then for your first support, very simple. It will be, wait, let me take this out. Yeah, because it's blocking the way. Okay, yeah, so much better. All right, then this one, right, your first support will definitely be at referencing to this level over here. Okay, this is your first support. All right, your overlap support level. Okay, and then for your second support, just right at this other key level here. All right, so I have quite a bit of expectations for this trade itself due to the fact that we have quite a few confirmations and direction. Okay, all right. Next thing, let's take a look at UJ. Okay, so for UJ itself, wow. Okay, UJ seems a little bit riskier. Yep, because previously, I was looking for a possible sell entry, but after seeing how price reacted at this certain level over here, like if I were to go down to H1, right, you can clearly see that this was not this was not a beautiful price action. So I just closed it as it is. Didn't really, yeah, and it switched to yeah, it flipped bullish, right? After this level, after that whole consolidation area. All right. UJ. Yeah, actually, UJ has quite a common point over here. I would say this would be your, let me just mark it out, okay? This would be your resistance level due to the fact that you have one, two, let's go to the left, and then you can see 3 points where it tapped this level before. All right, so that's why I'll place this as my first resistance. I wouldn't say this would be a pivot point, right? There's a high chance that it might still break past this level. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, maybe we can leave UJ out because it doesn't really look that good, in my opinion. Okay. Okay, let's see. NZD USD. All right, looking at the market structure of NZD USD, right? Right now, price has broken past this support level over here, right? And price is below the Ichimoku cloud. Okay, so what we want to see is that price could definitely react to a certain level, but where might that level be? Okay, so a level that NZD USD might react to could be this fair value gap over here. Okay, this bigger one. All right, and let's see, right, if it aligns with, let me adjust this first. Okay, let's see if it aligns with our Fibo retracement level. Pretty much, yeah, should be the 61.8%. Okay, but I will not use the 61.8% Fibo retracement level. I'll start off from the 50% Fibo retracement level because there is this area over here that price could potentially show resistance. Okay, which is this whole points over here. This quite a few pointers, one, then retest, and then another test over here. Okay, so I'll place this as my pivot point. All right, just right below the fair value gap is fine, right? And then for our first resistance, right, we want to extend it a little bit more. All right, so placing it right at this common area over here, which is our first resistance. Okay, and that's pretty much all you would need. Okay, because this is quite a high peak over here, right? So if price doesn't react to this fair value gap like this, right? So price comes up a little bit too much, right? And it bursts out of this fair value gap, means that there is a high chance price is not going in the way that we expected it to, all right? And it might come up a little bit more all the way to our first resistance. So this is a level that we want to be careful of, all right? So that's where we end things over there. Okay. Next thing, let me see. Oh wait, let me mark out my Fibo projection. Let's take a look. Yeah, beautiful. We have a 61.8% Fibo projection over here that aligns with this pivot point. Okay, 50% Fibo retracement together with 61.8% Fibo projection. All right, so this confirmation shows that there is enough confirmations for us to take a sell towards the downside over here. Okay, and then for our first support, very, very simple, with referencing towards this area over here, first support, and then for our second support will be this level. Okay. Okay, so this is something that we are looking for, right? Something to attract price towards our pivot point, and then for this confirmation to push price downwards. Okay. Next, let me just mark this out. Okay. Next thing, AUD USD. Okay, AUD USD pretty much quite straightforward, right? The level that I'll be looking out for is this area over here. This is definitely my pivot point, okay? And we also have a beautiful fair value gap over here. Let me adjust all of this, okay? Beautiful fair value gap, aligning with our pivot point. Even better if we have a, yep, 50% feeble retracement level over here. You know what's even better? If we have a projection that aligns with all of these 78.6%. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, projection, not that beautiful. Because if I were to put maybe, let's say 78.6, we still have a little bit of a gap between the 78.6% feeble projection and the pivot point. Okay, so I will not use this because it might seem a little bit misleading. Okay, and then let's see. Yeah. Okay, so apart from this, our first resistance, not over here, but I'll place it over here, which is a overlap resistance level. Okay, first resistance. Second resistance would be at this swing high resistance level over here. First support at the body of this candle. Okay, second support at this body of this candle, acting as a pullback support level. Okay, so these are all your key levels that you need to watch out for. Extremely simple. Okay, all right. So yeah, let me bookmark this. Okay, so apart from all the majors, the only ones that we didn't take note of would be CHF, USD CHF, and USD JPY, right? Because of the price action doesn't look too doesn't align with my setup, so shall not take into consideration those two pairs itself, right? But you have one, two, three, four, five other pairs that you can take for the upcoming week ahead. Okay, so let's take a look at gold itself. All right, so for gold, we can clearly see that price has been in a very bearish state, going back to close to October's lows, right? It has already broken past the low of March itself. All right, you can see right here, price has already broken past these lows. Okay, so it will still continue to be bearish, right? But a level that it will be bearish from, right, is this level over here. I would say this area is something that we need to take note of. Okay, and the reason why is because at this level, you can see there are more pointers, right, acting as a support, right, acting as a support, retest, all right, and price could potentially come up to this level again, right? It is already coming up to this level, all right? So let's take a look if there is any feeble retracement level that we need to watch out for, okay? We can take this high peak of this level to this area. So we have a 50% feeble retracement level. Okay, and if we take the lower time frame one, right, which is this swing high resistance. So let me just put this one and then another one. Okay, so these two together shows that there is feeble retracement confluence, right? If you want, you can use this 61.8% feeble retracement level over here, right? Might not confuse you that much. Okay, I just put these two because my eyes are used to it, and it just gives me a little bit of a range of where price could potentially end up at, and the range being from this, let's see, yeah, the range being this red color area that I'm looking at. Okay, and then for your first resistance, placing it at this level over here. Okay, second resistance at this area. So for gold, I would tend to place it at the body of the candle due to the fact that the pip count is so huge, okay, and it moves a lot faster. All right. And then for your first support, placing it at the body of the candle. Second support, you don't need it currently. All right. So let's just leave it as it is, looking for a sell trade towards the downside. Very, very simple. Okay. Mm, let's see what was the other setup that I was looking out for. Was it silver? Yeah. Okay, so for those that do trade silver, all right, there is another level that I also want to take note of for silver itself, and the area is this pullback resistance level. Okay, but this one might be a little bit riskier, all right, because price didn't fully close below this area over here. Okay, and what I mean by fully closed is we need the body of the candlestick to go below this level, but it did not, right? If I were to just mark out this area, you can see how price didn't even tap this area. Okay, so there is still quite a bit of potential for price to come down a lot lower. But one good thing is that we have a pullback resistance level, followed by also a daily time frame fair value gap over here. Okay, so this area could show potential signs of bearish movements once it comes up to this fair value gap. Okay, and it is already making itself up over there. All right, next thing, do we have a fair value? Do we have a FIBO confirmation? Let's take a look. Not that much. Wait, let me see. Yeah, I would say even if I were to use probably is this 61.8% FIBO retracement level over here. Okay, apart from that, nothing much, just this area. Okay, and then yeah, for my first resistance, I'll be placing it at this. Silver is fine. You can place it at the wick because the pip count is not as high as gold. First resistance and my second resistance is this level. Okay, first support. Let's take a look right here. This is my first support. And then for your second support, don't really have to mark it out right now. That's fine. Right over here. Okay, so this is something that we could be looking at for silver itself. Okay, so we have right now we have seven pairs to watch out for. Okay, let's maybe do let's take a look at, oh yes, okay. So Bitcoin is in a very pretty much in a quite a bad state right now. It was quite optimistic to the point where it reached 82,000, breaking past all these highs and almost right to this level. There's a lot of speculation on whether it might go back to the 90s and then the hundreds, but it stopped at about 82. Okay, so there might still be a little bit of potential to come up more, but as of right now, we might still want to look at uh, the bearish continuation. Okay, because we should follow trends and not speculation. All right. So this area could be one of the levels that you could look at. And then for your first resistance would be this area over here. And then for your second resistance at this other level. Okay. And the reason why I will mark all this level out, right? Let me just explain to you guys, right? This one, very simple. It's just support, broke through, right? Waiting for it to retest again. And then this one is resistance, broke through, acting as support, broke through, could act as a resistance. Okay. This higher one, support, broke through, yet to act as a resistance. Okay. You can see how there's a lot of reasoning behind all these levels. Okay, so this one is considered a slightly weaker one, but uh, because price is so bearish right now, right? You could possibly take this sell trade over here. Okay, so let's take a look if we all these levels have any feeble retracement levels. Only this first resistance. Okay, so I would say only this one has the 50% feeble retracement level over here. Let's see. Yeah, I think let's just this. Okay, so only this first resistance, so pivot point over here, and then for your first support, let's take a look. Placing it at this common level, first support, and then your second support. Yeah, I think just mark this out for now, right? Because if this doesn't work out, you have a higher level to watch out for, right? Which is at the 50% feeble retracement level for this area. Okay, so it's either right here or right here. Okay, so it's either here or here. All right, but our bias is still a bearish bias. Okay, and then yeah, BTC USD up to you, but I wouldn't mark it because it doesn't give me a very solid answer on as to whether I would want to take this trade or not. Right? Okay, let's see. Mm, okay, so we have gone through all the majors. We have gone through the commodities. Uh, let's see. Yeah. Initially, I wanted to do GBP, JPY, but looking at all these wicks, on the daily time frame, it just gave me the ick and like, nah. Let's take a look at how. Oh wow, S&P is doing great. US tech doing great. That's a good sign. This is also a good sign. Okay, so stocks are doing pretty well. Not to worry too much about it. Yeah. So one, two, oh wait, let me remove this. Okay, one, two, three, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Okay, so out of all these seven that I have shared with you guys, right, just choose maybe three or four of it, right? Not too many. Okay, and then you guys can go and mark out the levels where I showed you guys and possibly put buy or sell limits or even just mark out the levels, set alerts over here using the platform. Extremely useful, set alert, and then you will be notified of whenever price is reaching your area. Okay, then you can decide on whether you want to continue or whether you want to take the trade or not. Okay, yeah, so these are the trade setups that I have for you guys this coming week. All right. Yeah, so I think this is pretty much that's it. Okay, so any questions so far, right? Don't worry, this webinar is recorded. But do ask them where you can look out for this recording. Okay, and yeah, okay. So any questions so far, right? I'll probably wait for 1 to 2 more minutes before, if there are no questions, then I will just end the webinar because I've covered all of the setups that I wanted to share with you guys. Okay, so I'll just wait here in the chat room and see if there are any questions. Yeah, let's give it maybe 2 minutes. Okay, so I see that there are no questions. I think this session has been okay. All right, so yeah, that's all for this upcoming news and also the trades that I have for you guys. All right, so please remember to use proper risk management and also to remember to always stay safe and trade safe. All right, I shall see you guys again next week. Okay. All right, I'll see you guys then and take care. Bye bye.